Hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. I need you to come on in and tell me where you are from. I need you all to talk to me tonight. We are here for the Global Ministerial Institute. Where are you from? I see you in. Just tell me where you're from. Tell me hello. Say something to me. My guest, she's waiting on us to bring her in. She is here. Come on. I just want y'all to get situated before we bring her in. Come on in. I want to see who you are. Tell me where you from. I need somebody to talk to me. Where are you from? What city are you in? Tell me something. Come on here. Tell me where you're from. I'm not there. Now we talking. Come on here, Star. Star, they wouldn't tell me. Somebody's from, all right, there we go. Come on. South Carolina, Chicago. Yes, come on in. Come on in. Where else? Oh, Clarksville, Tennessee. Uh-huh. I know Kentwood, Michigan. Help for us. Come on in. Come on in. Freeport, Long Island. Yes, that's my yes. Daughter 7. Yes. Come on in, guys. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I am looking for you. Where are you? There you go. Naperville. I see Naperville. Come on in. Well, I'm double dutying here. Milwaukee, I'm so glad. Says Monica, I don't know how to pastor suffragan bishop. I need to know how to contact you. You need to reach out to me. Contact at justforyouministries.org. Contact at justforyouministries.org. Nicole Joseph. Nicole Joseph. Yes. Beverly Dowdy. Yes. All right. Pastor Keel. My cat, Pastor Kill. All right, Indiana's in the house. Indiana's in the house. All right, Indiana's in the house. Buffalo, New York. Detroit, Michigan. Y'all coming in now. There you go. I just needed y'all to come and let me know where you were, where you are, where you're from. Inbox you. Inbox you. I need to, okay, I'll figure it out. Yep. Come on, everybody. Where else? Where else? Where else? Where else? Where else? I need to hear from y'all. Tell me something else. Who else? Listen, tonight, Pastor Howell, my Pastor Howell, great woman of God, great woman of God, great woman of God. So glad to have you with us tonight. Pastor Dr. Darlene, amen. All right. One of my daughters who's in the doctor, Dr. Annette, I was thinking about you today for Pennsylvania. Amen. All right. Barbara, yes. Barbara Barrett, you need to contact me. I haven't heard from you in so long. Carolyn, that's right. Saw you. Yes. Well, listen, I'm not gonna wait any longer. I got her in the background, but I'm gonna bring her to the foreground. Come on, y'all. Y'all can give her some hands. This is my guest today. It is Prophetess Barbara Callaway. Come on in, Prophetess Callaway. Come on in, child. Come on in, honey. Come on in. They're in here. They are in here.
Awesome. I am so glad to see you again. And I love your energy. I love your excitement. And I'm glad to be on with you tonight.
I am so glad to have you. And listen, I'm seeing a lot of Texas in here. I'm seeing a lot of Texas. So why don't you do something for us? Tell our audience who you are and where you from. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. How about that?
That works. Well, again, I'm so honored to be on with you, Evangelist Riley. And I am a minister of the gospel. I am a mother. I am actually a grandmother of my handsome grandson, Dallas. And speaking of Dallas, that's where I'm from. I'm right here from Dallas, Texas. And I'm just so grateful for what God is doing. I'm an author of the book that we're going to talk about tonight, Dear Female Preacher, 21 Things Every Female Preacher Should Know. And again, I'm just, the old saints used to testify. I'm just glad to be saved. And so that's just me in a nutshell. I'm grateful again to be on with you.
Well, listen, I am so glad to have you. Just thankful unto the Lord for you being here with us. And I want to get right into it. So let me give you guys some just let me give you a tidbit. I'm asking her a lot of questions tonight. Well, a lot. We're going to be on for just a little bit. Let me go this way from this book. This is her book, Dear Female Preacher. You see it in the background with her. And so what we talk about tonight is in that book. And she's going to give us information about how you can get your copy. So share us, hit the comments, and we're getting ready to dive in.
Let's go.
You have in the book a section that talks about character and reputation. My question to you, and I'm sure that the other women would like to know, in 2020, because we see a whole lot of stuff on social media, in 2020, does character and reputation of the female preacher still matter? Sometimes it looks like it don't matter no more. I'm just asking.
I'm just like, does it really, really, really matter? My answer is a resounding yes. It still matters. Let me just say about you, woman of God. You've been in ministry for over 40 years, right?
That's right.
The reason why you are still thriving, you're still relevant in this 2020 age, it is because of your character. It's because of your reputation. In the book that you referenced, I write that it's been said that your character is who you really are, and your reputation is merely what other people think about you. But I believe as preachers that both are very important. It's so important that all throughout Scripture, the Bible tells us about the value of a good name. It talks about that we should not let our goods be evil spoken of, right? And so, regardless of this kind of modern day, do what you want to do, post what you want to post, wear what you want to wear, hang out with whoever you want to hang out, I am convinced that your character and your reputation, again, it defines the longevity of your ministry. I'm convinced that some of the doors that we walk through, our reputation, our character, our name has entered those doors before we ever step foot in. And so, depending on what you want to do in ministry, if you just want to hang out on the chitlin circuit, so to speak, if you just want to hang out with low lives, if it really doesn't matter how people view you, then keep your character, your reputation tarnished. But if you know that God wants to do some great things in your life and in your ministry, I believe that it is of the utmost importance that we do our best to uphold our character. Now, you can have good character, you can have bad character. And the truth of the matter is, you have to work on both.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
You have to work on both in order to have good character, like good credit, right? You have to make sure that who you're hanging out with, that those are people that have good character. You have to make sure that your decisions portray good character. You've got to make sure that when the camera is off, when you're no longer on the road or whatever your area of ministry is, that when no one sees you, you are upholding good character. Bad character, it's easy. Just be a liar. Be a thief. just don't uphold standards. And here's the thing, woman of God, and I'm trying not to get too in there tonight, but here's the thing about it. It's interesting that in this day and time, those who have bad character, bad reputation, seemingly they get more open doors. Am I correct? That's what we see. I mean, you could sleep around with everybody in the church. You can be known for a gossiper, a cheater, a liar. one that has no level of accountability, and you are the one that it's seemingly the doors continue to open up, because we're living in a day and time where people are more concerned about your charisma than your character.
Whoa, please say it again. One more time.
We're living in a day and time where people are more concerned about your charisma. Can you raise an offering? Can you draw a crowd? Can you prophesy? Can you cause people to be sensationalized and manipulated when it comes to giving? Can you draw people? So I'm not really concerned about your character. I'm concerned about your charisma to move people. And those are the people, unfortunately, that are going through the doors, that people with good character, seemingly it takes us a little longer. But I want to just say to women who are discouraged that I'm telling you, the good person always finishes, even if they finish last. And your character will keep you in ministry for years to come, when those who are just, pimping people based upon their charisma, they won't have longevity in this thing called ministry.
Ooh, and I'm so glad that you gave us that encouragement, because we don't want them to think that we're saying this is the way it is and you just have to go along with it. No, 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 no. The right will always win out. Am I correct? It always wins out. It always does. This is good stuff. Good stuff. So this is the one I want to spend some time with. And ladies, I want you all to really pay attention to this one. In your book, you say that every Ruth needs a Naomi.
Yeah.
And that's referring to mentorship.
Yeah.
Now, Ruth was drawn to Naomi even after Naomi tried to send her away.
Yeah.
That's what we get, in our marriage vows. Whither thou goest, so good when you learn. What no man talking about. That was her talking to Naomi.
Yeah.
All right. Now, do mentors choose the mentee? Because Naomi wasn't choosing Ruth.
Right.
Or do mentees choose the mentors?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this mentorship piece, because I really believe it's important. But let's talk about that.
I'm so glad that we are having these much needed discussions for women in ministry. And here's where I believe that a mentor can choose a mentee, and a mentee can choose a mentor. I think it goes both ways. I really don't think that there's per se the perfect way to choose a mentor or mentees, vice versa. I've had several women that have contacted me to ask me to mentor them. Now, here's the kind of mentor that I am. I want to know, number one, are you serious as a mentee? Because I don't want to pick up and spend time and pour into anyone that only wants an audience but does not plan to use the wisdom, the strategy, the tactics to get results. Some people, they want a mentor. They want someone that they can have a session to vent with, or they want someone to pity them. And of course, mentors are compassionate. But most times when people have asked me to mentor them, it is the Ruth Naomi relationship, because I want to know, while I'm pouring into you, what will be the return of the poor, right? As we know that Ruth followed Naomi, as you already said, even when Naomi was like, I don't have no more sons, I don't have nothing. Both you and Orpah go back to where you come from. It's the end of the road. Although we've come to the end of the road, she is done. And Ruth begins to say, listen, wherever you go, I'm going. Your God will be my God. And we understand that as Ruth accepts her as her mentor, although Naomi felt like she was done, we read over in that text that Naomi begins to pour out wisdom to Ruth. She had more to pour, but it came from that mentee saying that you are my mentor and you are my role model. I think that it is so imperative, woman of God, that women in ministry have people that we're able to look up to, and we have people that we're able to pour into. It goes both ways. When you have been, when you receive any level of wisdom, I think that you are also mandated to pour it out as well. So I think it can go both ways.
But so listening to you, and please, ladies, here, I want you to hear, prophetess. What are you saying that the dear female preacher
Mhm.
should be prepared to not only be a mentee, but to also be a mentor?
Absolutely.
Those who are mentees right now,
Yep.
they should be preparing themselves to be a mentor.
That's right. Let's look at Paul and Timothy, right? We know that Paul was Timothy's mentor, right? But
Mhm.
I'm sure that Paul coming up, he also had a mentor that prepared him, that shaped him, that gave him the wisdom that he needed. And he was able to pour out into Timothy. And now he's instructing Timothy that, listen, I want you to preach, make sure that you are always on point, make sure that you're wise. Remember the women that have laid hands on you, stir up the gifts that are in you, Timothy.
Mhm.
But after Paul left the scene, now it was time for Timothy to
Mhm.
take the words of his mentor and to pour it into the next generation. I know that, you know, my time of ministry or life, whether it's by the rapture or by death, will come. I know that I'm not going to live forever. I wish that that were possible, but I know that's not the cycle of life. And so I would hope that every preacher that I have poured into, whether it's been with them having a seat at the table or
Mhm.
far off, I would hope that they would take something that I poured into them and pour it into the next generation. And here's why. We talk about the generation that's coming up. We talk about them. We say, "Oh, this woman of God, she needs to do something with this and she should know better." But where are the mentors that's pouring into the next generation? You don't have to know it all to mentor someone else.
Very good.
Yeah.
And this is a good question. I want you to see this here. Dawn Crumble Adams,
Mhm.
is a spiritual covering the same as having a mentor? I'll let you answer. I'll come after you.
Now, don't put me first. Well, we know we use the word spiritual covering, but in the book, one of the first things that I talk about in the book, I think it's after the fact that God has called us as women. The second thing that I talk about is, yes, woman, you need a pastor. So when I hear the word spiritual covering, I'm not referring to my pastor as my mentor, although my pastor
Mhm.
can mentor me,
Good,
right?
good.
When I'm referring to my pastor, I have, by God, by prayer, I have given my pastor, my spiritual covering, access to correct me, to challenge me, to say yes or no, even to ministry assignments, right? I
Right.
have given them the oversight of my soul. I don't look at a mentor as the same as a spiritual covering, because a mentor could be one person 1 month, and you could find another mentor to mentor you in another area the next month. It's not like that with a pastor. So the question, the answer for me, now this is just for me, this is how I govern my life. I have many mentors, but I only have one pastor.
That's good. Good, good. Ladies, did you all get that? Did y'all get that? Somebody say, that's right. That's right, Erica. Make it plain up in here. Make it
Yeah,
plain.
yeah,
So what I'm hearing from you is that mentorship is important.
it is.
We need people in our lives. How about this? We need female mentors in our lives.
Yeah,
Eh,
absolutely.
to give us direction, to help us. And I know that a lot of times that people will say, "Oh, but you know what? I'm closer to men than I'm with women. I can't get along with women." You need female mentors in your life.
Yeah.
You definitely do.
Can I go a little further with this before we jump to
Yes, absolutely.
when I started in ministry, full time ministry, going on 14 years. Of course, I came from a long lineage of pastors and leaders and missionaries and evangelists and all of that. That sounds like where I'm from, the good old Church of God in
Church
Christ.
of God in Christ.
That missionaries that gave it away, right?
Right, reaching.
We reaching, not preaching, reaching, teaching, but not preaching everything. But we're gonna leave that alone. But when I came up and when I started in ministry, unfortunately, those women that I admired for years, my aunts, my grandmother, they were all gone off the scene. I had two younger children starting out in ministry. And for me, when the Lord called me, he called me fast. He called me so fast. He stopped me at a church in West Dallas, and one Women's Day service turned into 5 weeks of revival. 5 weeks, woman of God. I said to the Lord, I said, number one, you tripping. Number two, I don't have this many sermons. I've not studied. Lord, what are you doing? And the Lord began to say to me, I'm stopping you in one place and I'm going to take you through spiritual boot camp. Well, during that time, as a single mother with two younger children, I needed mentorship. I needed to know, what am I supposed to do with my children? And so I called women in ministry that had good character, good reputation, and I allowed them to pour into me, to groom me, to prepare me, to get me ready. And even at this stage of wherever God has me in ministry, I still have people that I will say, I don't know this. And I've had those conversations with you. I don't know this woman of God, but I know you've been in it longer than I have. So I need you to help me. I need you to give me clarity. This is how you identify your Naomi, your mentor.
Okay.
Who's already producing something successful, right?
Mm.
She's doing what you want to do. She's not selfish. She's willing to share what she knows. She wants you to be great, even greater than her, because after all, you are a reflection of her. She's caring and she won't beat you up. Even if you mess up, she'll correct you, but she will do it in a caring way. She makes you responsible for your future. She will not allow you to be lazy. She holds you accountable for your future. That means you cannot blame anyone else when you come in contact with your Naomi. And finally, she knows when you no longer need her. And she pushes you out of the nest, just as that eagle. When it's time for that chick to fly, she makes it uncomfortable. And that's what a good mentor will do. She says, listen, baby, I've carried you through this. I've mentored you through this. But now here it is. You no longer need me. Now it's time for you to mentor the next woman, the next generation. And so that's how big mentorship. It's so important in all of our lives that we find women that we can glean from and not say, don't nobody want to help me. Don't nobody want to make it. Won't nobody put me on their platform. Find a mentor that's doing what you're doing and stick with them and bless them and honor them for how they're pouring into your life.
This is awesome. We're getting so much information. People are coming at us with this. And there was this one that asked, since you said they're seasonal, that they don't always, they're not the same person or all the time. Mm-hmm. They can expire. It can be seasonal. I know that, and this is in response to a question. I know for me, there have been mentors. I have a spiritual mother. Mm-hmm. Ernestine Cleveland Reams, that's a spiritual mother. What you see about the foundation of me as a woman in ministry, she took time and poured that into me. Mm-hmm. She wasn't just someone who was a living example. She mothered me.
Yeah.
Okay. But at the same time, then there have been people who have been mentors for a season.
Sure.
That they you know, that maybe at this season in my life they mentored me, at this stage of my life they mentored me. And to the person that mentioned, that asked that question, I don't say that you know, you don't toss them to the side, but
Yeah.
I think that you always acknowledge what they've done and
Yeah.
honor them for the role that they've played in your life at that time. Now, you talk in the book about, ladies, get ready for this one, fear and intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned this to you. I said, man,
Mm-hmm.
so we crack the glass ceiling? Did we do anything to it? We're still fearful and we're still intimidated.
Yeah.
Am I hearing that right?
You're hearing it correctly. I think as long as we are in this skin, there will always be fear and intimidation, right? But I think it is more so of our perception of what other people will think versus what they really think. You know that we're living in a day and time where everybody on Facebook, either it's a relationship goal or it's a friendship goal. We have so many filters. We have so many women that we look up to, and here's what goes wrong, and here's why we become fearful and intimidated. It is because we begin to compare ourselves to a filter of another woman. It's not even the real her.
Did you say a what?
A filter.
Say it again. I want to make sure they get it.
It's a filter.
It's just a filter, y'all. That's not
It's
her.
a filter.
She bigger, she darker, she
It's just a filter. Listen, thank God for Mac. Thank God for Fenty. Thank God for whatever your beauty makeup is. Because listen,
filter.
we can conceal it. We can
That's
we
right.
can snatch it. We can couture it. We can do whatever that technology allows us. But we allow ourselves to fall into fear and intimidation because we compare ourselves to what other people are doing. And so I just taught a class that intimidation has actually a fear has a cousin, and it's intimidation. That's the cousin to intimidation, and it's also rejection. What if they don't like me? What if they don't accept me? What if? And so we continue to put these things in our mind, but Scripture tells us that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of a sound mind. So if God has not given us this spirit, where does it come from? It doesn't just come from the inner me, it comes from the inner me.
uh,
It doesn't just come from the devil. No.
that's
It
good.
comes from inside of us. Our self-esteem is not as healthy as it should be. We are not surrounded by people who will say to us, girl, you got it. You got it going on. You can do this. Listen, bust a move. I don't want to hear no more about coming soon. Have you ever seen that, woman of God, those movies that are
Coming soon.
coming soon attraction, and we're living our lives with coming soon
Coming soon.
because we have allowed
I
fear
love
and
it.
intimidation to get the best of us. But I believe that God is breaking that tonight for women who are watching. I believe tonight with all of my heart that we're going to come to the realization. Here it is for me. I don't know how you look at it, but for me, I understand that people are just people. A rich person is just a person. A person that has millions of people on their following, their Facebook page, their churches, they're just people,
People.
just like I am. And so we've got to break this glass ceiling that we place on top of our own heads of fear and intimidation.
Mm. But now, what would you say? Because you teach a class, and I'll ask you about that in a minute. What would you say you're finding is one of the greatest things that intimidates the female preacher?
I think again, it goes back to the perception of that other person. They sing better than me. They preach better than me. Or here it is. I don't know who I am. I really don't know.
Ah,
right? And so because I don't know who I am intimidated by the person who does show the confidence that they know who they are. Or there have been people that have experienced so much abandonment and rejection, whether it was in your childhood, whether it was in your elementary school, whether it was in your marriage, in your family. You've experienced so much rejection to where it's like, I know this is going to happen. I'm just waiting on someone else to reject me. So I'm going to remain in this state of intimidated. I remember for a long time that I was afraid of dogs, and I still have a problem. You know those people that be like,
When you
they
see it coming,
they won't bite you. They're nice dogs. Listen, they nice to you because they was in the home with you, but they didn't know you, but they don't know me. And here's where it happened. I remember walking down the street, leaving the fair with my aunt, and we're walking down like a little storefront sidewalk. And as I'm walking down, this huge dog, it was a pit bull, ran out of the store towards me, right? I'm a little girl. I have this fight or flight tendency, and instead of fighting, I'm getting out of here. I ran up on a brand spanking new red Porsche. I mean, that baby was bad. I ran up on the roof of that thing. And my aunt began to say to me, Barbara Annette Callaway, if you don't get down off of that car, I'm like, Aunt Rosie, do you see that dog? Did you hear that? I'm just shaking. I'm just in a panic. And she said, I see the dog, but did you see the leash?
aha, you
That
didn't
I
see,
just saw the dog. I didn't see the
you didn't see
chain.
the
I
lead.
didn't see the restraints. I didn't see that he really couldn't get me. His bark was really bigger than his bite. He could not get me. And that's what intimidation is. You see the threat of a thing, you see the fear of a thing, but you don't see that that thing cannot harm you. It really cannot harm you. It may teach you some lessons, but we've got to teach women again not to be cocky, but to be confident, not to be arrogant, but to be confident in who God has uniquely made you to be. And when you can look in yourself in the mirror and say, girl, you got it going on. When you can look at yourself and say, man, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, I believe it will boost healthy confidence in us to help us kind of break the barriers of being intimidated.
Before we move on, I want to ask this question. What do you say to the woman or the female preacher who is experiencing intimidation by her male counterparts?
By her male, what was the other?
Counterparts, men in ministry.
Ooh, we talked about that the other week. I wish they were on with us.
Come on.
Now, this may not be popular, um, but I just believe that we are not in competition with men. Let me say that number one. We're not in competition, right? God created me to be graceful, to be feminine, to be who He has called me to be. And so, if you are experiencing intimidation, and we're going to get into this a little later, and the two with one, or that principle of
Mhm.
going out two by two versus two by one. If you're experiencing that intimidation, just remind them that you know who you are, and you cannot intimidate me because I'm not trying to be you. I'm not trying to replace you. I'm in my lane, you're in your lane, and continue to be who you've called continue to be who God has called you to be. We talked about that, woman of God. You made such a good point in one of the sessions that you did with me recently, that men respond to the right voice,
Mhm.
to the right feminine voice. And if you're experiencing that intimidation, listen, do your assignment, do what you've been called to do, go home and know that God is with you. And sometimes, like me, you have to have some big brothers.
That's right.
You know, if you're single, you have to have brothers that you can call and say, hey, I need some help with this because this is not right what I'm feeling from this man of God. It's all right to call backup if you feel like you're in a situation that's over your head.
And a lot of times I think we have to be honest. We're
Yeah.
not going to always be, even in 2020, in the church,
Yeah.
accepted as our male counterparts are
So good.
accepted.
That's so good.
And we have to be ready with, is that a good way of saying it?
That's
Be
good.
ready for that.
Yeah.
You know, it's that's the way it is. I was recently in a session. I think Pastor Germany, if you're still on here, you'll know what session I was in. I was recently in a session, and they explained to us the difference between um, diversity and inclusion.
Mm.
Said diversity is when they invite you to the dance.
Hmm.
They want to have your face in the place.
Yeah.
Inclusion is when they invite you to dance.
That's so good.
Because it's all right. And sometimes we are sitting at the table,
Yeah.
but they don't want to hear our voice.
Yeah.
And you've got to know how to handle, I'm gonna be at this table
Yeah.
until this thing begins to shift.
Sure.
I don't think you get up.
Yeah.
I think you stay there until you shift. What do you think?
I agree with you. You've been such a trailblazer for women in ministry. I mean, we have seen you literally in every capacity on so many stages. You have shown us how to operate as a woman per se in a man's world. I agree with you that sometimes because it's man heavy, they'll throw a woman on the flyer just to
That's
again
right. Oh,
invite us to the dance, invite us to the table. But you stay there, as you said. You continue to be who God has called you to be, and you allow God to position you. Sometimes you do have to have tough skin. You've got to continue to say, "Hey, I'm not going anywhere. Anywhere. I'm here to stay. I didn't call myself. God has called me to ministry, and He's given me a voice as a woman in ministry, just as He has given the men a
that's
voice in ministry. And again, there is no competition. We should not be competing. We should be complementing one another. And so you will come into those rooms where it's, there's male chauvinism that's going on. But just know that God has you there, and you will continue to break barriers for women that's coming up behind you. Just stay there, stay in position, smile, be nice, be graceful,
right.
but say, I ain't going nowhere. I know ain't is not proper. But just say, I'm
Stay
going.
right here.
I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna be right here at this table. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, we're getting so many comments are coming in. Let's go to this one. This is gonna be a good one, y'all. You have this section about two are better than one.
Hmm.
So you deal with accountability,
Hmm.
the importance of having someone with you for accountability, encouragement, and even spiritual backup.
Hmm.
Come on, help us out. What you talking about? Two better than one?
Well, you know what? I'm going to it as well because I want to just kind of reference some of the things. You know, as traveling, and I just had this conversation today, right? Someone was inviting me to a ministry event, and they were like, and I believe them. When you get off of the plane, you're going to be very well taken care of, and we're going to have people that will wait on you hand and foot. And I really believe that they meant well, that they meant what they said. But I've learned, and I take it from scripture, that I don't travel by myself. I don't go into cities and states and places, ministry assignments by myself. Because if we remember when Jesus begins to call the disciples, when he begins to appoint apostles, he sent them out not one by one, he sent them out two by two. There is accountability there is accountability in 2 verses 1. Number 1, here's just some practical stuff. Now I can do this from head knowledge. If I go into a ministry assignment, I am very careful that I don't get in the back office with the pastor, especially a man of God, by myself. Well, what's wrong with that? Well, depends on who you're asking, because something can be twisted. There could be a conversation that's had, whether it's about an honorarium. It doesn't mean that there's anything that is, ungodly that's going on. But the accountability of having someone, especially someone that I know, that I trust, that trusts me in ministry, you cannot take my word over theirs. You have another witness that's able to listen. 2 are better than 1. That spiritual backup. 1 can chase 1,000. 2 can put 10,000 to flight, right? So there's that person that you have that's been praying, that's been fasting, that's been coming into agreement with you, that has your back. When you're weak, they know how to hold you up in the spirit. And that's why, to me, it's important to have that double team, that agreement, that person that's with you, especially on the road and in ministry.
That's good. And let me give you full disclosure. The majority of my out of town travel
Mm-hmm.
is by myself.
Mm-hmm.
In the city or in the area. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
But by myself doesn't mean by myself.
That's right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's someone that I have a very personal relationship with, they have not even dealt with me.
Mm-hmm.
They have been accountable to someone else
Sure.
with everything.
Sure.
So there is this feeling of, okay, this woman who's your assistant is going to kill us if we don't do what we go, because of the way she has put things together, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's always that where it's a call, it's checking,
Sure.
it's seeing
Sure.
what you need, how's it going, and occasionally there may be times where that I don't have to make, because I haven't been talking to you.
Right.
That someone would have to, that my assistant will have to make and say, this didn't. She's at the hotel. She's all checked in, but maybe something's wrong at the hotel. Maybe something's wrong, and so if there's still in that level of accountability,
Sure.
and also spiritual backup.
Yeah.
And there's always somebody covering.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what we need to be talking about too, is make sure we understand. Always make sure you got somebody covering you in prayer.
Yeah.
And that you've got somebody praying for you, somebody looking out for you.
Yeah. And not somebody that's saying they're praying for you. Don't you just hate that? I'm praying for you, woman of God. No. I need to literally feel the prayers of the righteous, because when you're out there, and we're talking now being on the road, so we're talking about itinerant ministers.
Absolutely.
When you're out there on the road, you know this very well, probably even in a deeper way, that there are so many spirits that are attached to different regions, different cultures, different cities, different churches. And so, you need to have that person that is accountable. Now, I love your full disclosure. And the reason why I started traveling with someone, it wasn't always that. It's because I went through a series of sickness, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, even for a year and a half, I was preaching, I was traveling with a colostomy bag for a year and a half.
Oh, no, you can't be alone.
Yeah, I needed that person to assist me because I was not at full strength. And so once I began to travel with someone, it just felt right to have that person with me. Again, that's
absolutely
to look out and to have that sense of accountability. We have a mutual friend, and I talked to her, and she said, "Girl, listen, I like going by myself. I'm in, I'm out, I'm to my hotel. I'm not having lunch. I'm not having dinner. So it's no problem. And so I think it really depends on your personality and
Right.
your preference, and really sometimes even what the church can afford.
Sure.
Travel accommodations, but that accountability is so important when you're in ministry. Two is better than
Then you touched on it, so I don't have to try to find it again. Someone asked, here she did. She said, so who pays the way for the travel buddy? I
one.
don't know if we want to call him travel buddy expenses, Vera, but the travel you
Yeah, you know
you
what?
answered that.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
church pays for it, and in my particular instance, the church typically covers the expense of the travel assistant. And if they can't, if they cannot, and if they say this is not in our budget, and because it's so important to me, thank
Right.
God for travel points, right?
Right.
Thank God that I'm
That's right.
able to say, hey, come on, I'm going to
That's right.
cover it, because it's just that important to me. When I travel by myself, I just don't feel right, because I'm
Okay.
so accustomed to having that person with me. So
Absolutely.
I'll take the expense if the church can.
And I think it's good for them to hear both, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But one, even though you're hearing one who does the majority of her travel with someone, the one who does the majority of her out of town travel without someone, you're still, but one thing you're hearing that's common, accountability.
yes, yes,
Somebody else's and spiritual backup. Okay.
yes.
Now let's talk about this whole balance thing. We do so much as women. How do what you talking about balance eliminates burnout? What is that? You got right on here tonight. You got people you got single people on with single women on. You got married women on. You got married women who got kids. You got married women who got grandkids and kids. We got women here on here that got preaching with jobs and a business. Talk to us. Help us out. What's going on?
Balance it. The question is there a method to this madness? Is there a method to this madness? William Shakespeare says, though this be madness, yet there is a method in it. And this is the question that I get a lot, and I'm sure you do as well, a woman of God. How do I balance this? How do I balance my life? It's like the juggling balls. How do I balance it all? Well, for me, I understand that balance is not giving everything 50-50 or 25-25-25-25 until I balance it to a complete 100. There are some times in my week that I give something 50%. I
Yes.
give something else 25%, right? And I give something else 25%. Balance does not mean that it is equal attention on all things. That's not balance. That's a nervous breakdown waiting to happen, right? Balance means that I am prioritizing my life based upon the need. If my children need me, then my attention is there. If my husband needs me, then my attention is there. It doesn't mean that every week, every day, I can give my child and my husband the same amount of time. I can't tell you the formula for your life. You have to, as a woman, figure it out. What's going to have my priority? What's not? Something has got to go without time for you to have balance. And here's what I understand as a woman. And I know that every woman that's watching me, I know my limit, right? I know when I've had enough. I know when I can't preach or prepare for not another sermon this week. I know, I know when I've done all of the calls, all of the virtual meetings that I can possibly take on without burning out. So I've learned, especially the older I get, that no is not a cuss word.
Oh, can you say it again? Say it again.
Let me just say it a little slow. No is not a cuss word. No
It's not
is
cussing.
not a is not cussing for you to say no. So how do I create balance to eliminate burnout? Say no. Say it with a smile. Say it so pleasant and tell them, no, I'm sorry. I can't attend your baby shower this weekend. You know,
No.
I'll send you a gift card. I'll send you something in the mail. You know, you my girl. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to make the revival this week. Let me know when the next one is coming next month. I
No.
can take that one, right? As women, we feel that we are obligated to respond to every invitation at the expense of ourselves. So we put everyone else first, right?
Right. That's
Everybody
right.
put them first and we put ourselves last, not understanding that if we don't put ourselves first, we can never be there for other people. If you don't learn your barriers, if you don't learn how to take personal time for your vacation, for your Sabbath,
Mm,
for your spa day,
mm.
for your mental health break day, if you do not learn how to do that, you will find out that your mind will begin to shut down and your body will soon follow. Some people, it's not that the disease runs in your family. That's not why you're sick. You
Mm,
put everybody else in front of you. So you miss
mm.
your workouts because you're so busy doing everything else. You miss eating right because you're so busy taking care of everyone else. You miss your vacations. I don't care if you go to London or if you go to Lubbock, Texas. It doesn't matter. You can get on a plane or go check into a hotel. It doesn't matter. The moment that we stop taking care of ourselves, we burn out
That's right.
fast. And so we've got to learn how to gracefully decline the things that are eating of our time.
Wow. I want you, before we conclude, to just take a moment to speak into the life or the lives of these female preachers who are on tonight and give us some just words of encouragement.
Absolutely. I want to just tell you, those of you who are in ministry, preachers, let me tell you this. You have been called as Esther to the kingdom for such a time as this. Your assignment, your ministry, your mandate, it's not going to necessarily look like everyone else's, but you
That's right.
are important to the kingdom of God. And so, this is what I hear God saying to tell his daughters: I need you to arise to who you already are. We're trying to become better versions of ourselves, but you are already who God has called you to be. You've got to believe it. You've got to know it. You've got to understand it. You've got to connect yourself with like minded women of faith, with mentors. You need a pastor. You may not be able to get to the church, but you need a man or woman of God who is able to hold you spiritually accountable. If you don't have a prayer life, I'm telling you, none of what we've said tonight will matter in your life. You've got to build altars in your home. You have to have sacred time where you consecrate yourself to the things of God. I say this so often. We don't just need pretty preachers. We need powerful preachers. It's nothing wrong with being pretty, but be pretty and have some power. Be pretty and be able to roll up your sleeves and tell the devil, if it's a fight you want, it's a fight you're going to get. We need godly women in this godless generation where so many people are blowing their brains out. When our sons and daughters are being gunned down in the street, I'm telling you, when life doesn't matter, we need women. And I know Evangelist Riley can attest to this. We need women of good character, of good reputation, doing what God has called you to do. Preach the word. Hallelujah. Be instant in season and out of season. Make full proof of your ministry. Be committed to God. And don't stop when things get rough. Come on, tell the Lord, if you call me to do this, I need your strength. So I want to encourage you to be graceful. I want to encourage you to remain feminine. I want to encourage you not to kiss up. Don't sleep your way to the top.
Right.
God is a perfect gentleman and he knows how to open every door that he has in your life. So I want to encourage you to keep going, keep preaching, keep praying, and keep believing that God is going to do something incredible in your ministry.
Woo, you don't have to sleep your way up. Lord have mercy.
You don't. You don't. You
What
don't.
is what's your website?
My website is dearfemalepreacher.com. Dearfemalepreacher.com. Of course, it's compatible with the book that God gave me to write. And woman of God, the reason why I wrote this book, it is because again, when I was coming up in ministry, I don't feel like I had the people that I needed in my phone and in my contact to give me the answers to some of the questions that I had. I feel like the reason why I made so many mistakes is because I just didn't know. And so I took 21 things that I believe every female preacher should know. From again your value. There's so many things that we didn't touch. Being single is not a curse. How to manage ministry and children. I've been there. I've done that. And so it's all inclusive in this book.
Do you see? I want everybody to see. I'm gonna leave up Erica Monique, dearfemalepreacher.com. Listen, ladies, I need you all to do something for me. I want you to go to her website and I want you to purchase this book. Purchase a copy of the book for yourself. Purchase a copy of the book for some woman in ministry that you know. Okay. And if you say, I got the book, then you will go to her website. So you make sure you're spelling her name right. Write it down. Put a $ in front of it. Go to Cash App and sow into her.
Thank you.
Do you hear me? Let's be a blessing to Prophetess Callaway. I want you all to just join me. We're going to be a blessing to Prophetess Callaway. So go to her website. There it is, Dear Female Preacher. You see the information. You see the information there on the screen. You see the information there on, well, it was on the screen. There it is. Come on back. There it is on the screen. I want you to go to a Dear Female Preacher, Dear Female Preacher, Dear Female Preacher.com. I want you to get a copy. Get a copy. Yes, we hear one of our talking about our mutual friend there. Yes, you've been there. Yes, yes. Dearfemalepreacher.com. Go and purchase the book. Those of you that are saying, well, I've already got the book or don't want to get it right now. Well, why don't you go to Cash App, put a $ in front of her name, Barbara Callaway, and just sow into her and let her know that we love her and appreciate everything that she has done and poured into us on tonight. Those of you that would like to sow into Just For You Ministries, Just For You Ministries, $ Just For You, the letter U Ministries, and that's on Cash App. I thank God for each and every one of you that monthly tune in to our Global Ministerial Institute. The endeavor is that on a monthly basis, we take time to pour into those who are in ministry, to give you information and to have dialogue in areas that maybe you don't have regular dialogue in, and to bring great voices to come to speak to you and to pour into you. That being said, this is where we'll be the last Monday in the month of September. And I want to see you there. Go to my website, Just For You, the letter U ministries.org, and sign up to be a part of our email list so you'll get the email reminding you of this event. All right. I want you to give me some hands come on, y'all. Give me some hands. I'll see everything there. There you go. All right. Come on. Give me some hands. There we go. Thank you, Sister Kimberly. Give us some hands. Give us some hands. Give us some hands. Give us some hands to thank. We want to thank Prophetess. We want to thank Prophetess. Come on, y'all. I need some hands. I need some claps. I need some claps. Y'all ain't give me no. I need some claps. Okay. I see the thank yous, the bless yous. The bless yous. There we come on. Here we go. I want her to know we appreciate her. I really do. I really do. I really do. Ministry can be such a thankless job sometimes. But we want her to know that we love her and we appreciate her. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That's it. That's it. Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, prophetess. You know, I'll be in touch with you, and I appreciate you, love you. We're getting your book and doing all those other good things.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be on with you. I'm telling you, I appreciate your ministry and your life. So thank you for allowing me to be on this platform with you.
Thank you. And thank you for all the kind things you've said. Bye bye, ladies.